Now here's where you need to know that was a parable. You're not supposed to beat your servants. If you go to a restaurant and they give you kind of bad service, don't hit them. Okay? You know, when you go to a restaurant, you can kind of quickly know if your server really cares about you or if they're just trying to earn a paycheck. They're just working for pay. If they're working for pay, their service is minimal. It's like they forget you from time to time. And they're upset, you can see, if you ask for something more. But if they care about you, then they're eager to help. They want your experience to be wonderful. Not because of the pay or they're expecting a bigger tip. They just are a servant. They have a servant's heart. So to them, this is about us being servants of God. We are all called to serve God. And we might ask, well, what is our reason for serving? Do we feel kind of this obligation? Or are we afraid of what will happen if we don't serve? What is our relationship with God? Do we know a God who loves us? A God who truly cares about us, so that in response, we will care and love our God and love our neighbor, not because of obligation, but because of our heart. What motivates us is important. Why did I come to Mass? Why do I pray? Why do I help? Why do I volunteer? Why is so important. Paul, in our second reading, spoke about faith. He says, faith is the realization of what was hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. And he uses the example of Abraham, who went forth from his home into an unknown area because God told him to go. He trusted in God. And he trusted in God because he knew God. He had that relationship with God that told him all that he needed to know. That God cared about him. And so it was good to trust and to go forth. He is a person of faith. In the Bible, to know God, that word to know, is talking about a relationship that is very close. The only other place that word is used in the Scriptures is to describe marriage, the relationship between husband and wife. So God is calling us into that relationship of love, of intimacy with our God. And we are to respond then to God's initiation, His love for us, with a love for God and a true love then for our brothers and sisters. Well, how do we grow in love? Or if we do not have that relationship with God, how do we develop? Well, we learn this by watching people. How do people fall in love? What happens? Or for a married couple, how do they strengthen their love? That bond, how do they deepen it? Well, we know that there are some tools. Communication in marriage is like prayer in our relationship with God. A couple need to spend time together, such as why we have come here, just to spend time with God. And it really doesn't matter if I learn anything here at all. I'm spending time with my God, and that helps my relationship. And also the work on what we might call the skills of marriage. Reconciliation, compassion, forgiveness, communication skills, healing, generosity. All of these we see throughout the Scriptures as a description of the Christian life, the life of a person of faith. Do we recognize that while I am working in that relationship my brother and sister, at the same time, I'm working on my relationship with God and building those skills which allow me to know God's love and to express my gratitude to God's love, my own love, to God and to my brothers and sisters. Jesus tells us in our gospel, you must be prepared, for an hour you do not expect the Son of Man will come. This can be very helping for us to understand my relationship with God. If you hear that statement and you're thinking, oh, I better look busy, or I better be afraid, or maybe I'm not yet ready for that final judgment, then maybe I'm looking at God as this judge, and I'm keeping God distant from myself. I would suggest we could look at that same quote that Jesus is coming in a way that is exciting, anticipating something wonderful is about to happen. And so I am prepared for something good, not evil. In other words, I'm prepared because I never know the opportunity that will be before me. The opportunity to love. The opportunity to give evidence that I am a follower of Christ. The opportunity to feed the hungry. To listen to a child who's hurting. To comfort a friend in need. To pray for a stranger in the hospital. To stand up and support those who are defenseless, whether they be old or young. Much will be required, Jesus tells us, of the person entrusted with much. And so our response begins with that awareness we have been given so much from our God. God loves us so much. God loves you so much. And so we spend our whole life trying to give thanks to God by expressing it through love. It is time for us to make all of our relationships more caring and more genuine. It is time to confront within ourselves any motivation that is fear or duty. It's time to open our heart for true intimacy with our God.